I want to quote from the book of Khalid on page 462, which is about 10 pages before the end of the book. The chapter is entitled Farrakhan criticizes Khalid after his death. In his speech after Minister Khalid passed, Farrakhan will continue to rail against General Khalid, ensuring that his followers will know exactly where he stood on the Black Power general. He compared his former national spokesman to Columbus, calling him half-learned and saying, "But you think you are wiser than Allah, so you want to carve out a new way of doing things. So you end up losing what you thought you had and losing your life as well." Farrakhan saved the worst for last, criticizing Khalid for being buried as a Black Panther, knowing full well he had been put out of the Nation of Islam without a trial or hearing. Louis Farrakhan stated, "For my brother Khalid to be buried in the uniform of a Black Panther, when God had raised him and gave him the best of his creation, the sun, the moon, and stars, and then you would name yourself after a beast that we created." Farrakhan then added against Khalid, "To hear my brother crying out Black Power as though we are not on a course to gain real power. Not shout it out, but get it." Hard words indeed for the man who had forgiven Wallace, forgiven Jesse, forgiven Marion Barry, and forgiven even the whites themselves, inviting Caucasians to be a part of the Black family at his Million Family March. Farrakhan condemned Khalid. Muhammad Wali was still fresh in his grave, just transitioning to the realm of the ancestors. At a May 17, 2011 Church of Scientology gathering, in front of a mixed audience of blacks and whites, Louis Farrakhan would openly allege that Khalid Muhammad had been a victim of childhood sexual abuse or molestation. Speaking specifically of persons who had been raped and abused, Minister Farrakhan was promoting the program of L. Ron Hubbard, the Nation of Islam, and Dianetics as a prescription for the Nation of Islam. Farrakhan claims he was talking to a woman who, according to Farrakhan, told him, he was abused when he was young. Farrakhan claims that Minister Khalid, while in the NOI, Khalid had used his authority in a negative way and was sick inside due to the fact that something was disturbing him. Farrakhan falsely claimed that Khalid Abdul Muhammad was in foster homes and that only God knows what happens with our children when they are in these places. So he always felt he had to be more macho than anybody else. So I tried to civilize him and tell him how you can be a statesman, but you want to fight all the time, and show off this kind of power. And I didn't realize that my brother was affected by some abuse. In my interviews with all of Khalid's family, siblings, and friends, I have found Minister Farrakhan's allegation that Khalid was sexually abused as a child completely untrue. Khalid was raised by his aunt, not in any foster home, and his family rejects Farrakhan's claim strongly. Sadly, it appears that in wrestling with Khalid's strength, Farrakhan continued to try to degrade Khalid's masculinity as some kind of sickness, rather than plainly admit that Minister Khalid was just a naturally born strong black man, and that he still to this day has issues with Khalid's manhood. Khalid Muhammad's supporters have been raising the question, why would Minister Farrakhan repeat such scandalous information about Khalid? Furthermore, to spread this information at a Scientology-related event only raises more questions. According to Khalid's family, the former Harold X had rejected Scientology long ago when it was first brought to him in the NOI during the 1980s in Los Angeles. And I will end there. This is from the book of Khalid.